We frequently recommend EcoFlow products on the channel. We leave links to their site, and we've ordered products from their site before, but we haven't always had the best experience when it comes to EcoFlow support. Okay, well, I just want help fixing it. I don't know why it would need to be replaced, right? Does they just break this easily? We've had our own issues with a couple of their products in the past, and in those videos we've mentioned what seems like kind of like a lack of knowledge coming from EcoFlow's end when we're trying to get help. But the truth is, we've never really got the full experience from them, so we decided to mystery shop them.
We made up names, addresses, and reasons for calling. We blocked our numbers and we got to work. We called both the sales and tech support side of the company to get a feel for the brand. Most importantly, we want to have the confidence in our recommendation to have you shop with EcoFlow directly, or if we would recommend going through third-party distributors.
Before we get started, this video is not sponsored. EcoFlow had no idea we were calling. This is as real of an experience as you're gonna get. If you guys are curious and you don't know much about EcoFlow, we actually have a whole behind the brand video you guys can go check out. We'll leave a link to it in the description. Otherwise, let's jump into it. So I spoke with sales first. There was absolutely no wait time to get on the phone with someone, and I ended up speaking to
Contacting EcoFlow customer service. This is speaking. May I know who I'm speaking with today?
I was basically just trying to give him the basics of a scenario so that he could kind of lead me in the direction and recommend a unit to me. Obviously, we don't want to come off like we know too much about the products. I told him I had like a gas generator that I was using, but I wanted to purchase a unit from your site, and I was just hoping that you could help me basically pick the best one. And I gave him a rough usage of about 3,500 watts per day. We did like a little bit of rough math, and it looks like it's about 3,500 watts per day that we're going to be using. We just need to keep on like the furnace, the hot water tank, fridge, and stuff like that. The last outage that we had was about 3 days. So something that would last long enough for that. I also mentioned that I already have a transfer switch, and I want a unit where I can just take that, plug it directly into my existing transfer switch and use it seamlessly the way I was already kind of comfortable with using it. I didn't want to have to set up anything new. Instantly, he was not very clear about where we were heading at all. He didn't explain anything to me. He didn't explain my power usage. He didn't help me do any math. He didn't do basically anything. He just took the information I gave him and jumped directly into a recommendation.
So I think for like 3 days, you're going to be looking at a big unit, probably the Delta Pro Ultra.
The one thing he did ask was about my continuous usage.
If you like, you want like continuous 3,500 watts.
No, that's like the total amount that we use each day.
What's the continuous hour that you need? Do you have any idea?
The furnace uses like 450. A hot water tank is not very much, and then just like a fridge. So it probably wouldn't be more than like 1,000 at a time.
1,000 watts continuous for like 72 hours.
Well, it's not continuous because it's running like a fridge and the furnace and stuff, so it comes on and off. That's why I was saying, like, based on how much we think it runs, it uses about 3,500 watts per day. So I was like, okay, this could be on the right track, but I told him we were using a furnace and a fridge and stuff like that that kind of comes on intermittently. So I'm like, the continuous usage doesn't matter. What matters is the daily usage. But him asking for the continuous usage was basically the death of the entire phone call. It's like I said, it's like a fridge and stuff, right? It's not always running.
Yeah, of course, I get it. You can have like 3 batteries, 4 batteries. So Delta Pro Ultra with 4 batteries, 21 hours of continuous power. And because like you said, 3,500 watts times 3 would be something like 11,000. So I think 3 batteries.
Little overkill. A lot overkill. He knew the verbiage to use, like continuous usage, but he didn't really understand what he was asking when I was explaining to him my daily usage. He was doing math based on if I'm using 1,000 watts per hour continuously every hour, ignoring the 3,500 watts of use per day. I explained to him over the call 3 times that I was trying to power a fridge and a furnace and these intermittent things, and my total usage was only 3,500 watts per day. Then I asked him about how can I plug that Delta Pro Ultra into a transfer switch, and he told me
the ecosystem that is built on, so it only works with our transfer switch or our panels, not with third-party ones, and it's built like that.
Okay. You said I can't plug this into the transfer switch I already have. So do you guys have a transfer switch or something that I would also need? So what is that called on your guys' website?
It's called the transfer switch.
Okay, and this is an EcoFlow brand transfer switch then, you're saying? Okay, which we know is not true.
Nope.
And EcoFlow, I mean, aside from their smart home panel, they don't sell a transfer switch. They sell the Reliance ProTran generic transfer switch that you can plug.
EcoFlow.
Not EcoFlow's brand, that you can plug any generator cable into and then plug it into any generator, whether it be solar or gas or whatever. So again, he just didn't really know his stuff on that side of things. Based on the math that we gave him, we wanted him to recommend something in the range of a Delta Pro 3 with an expansion battery or something of that nature. He just didn't understand how to do the math, and he way over-spec'd a kit for us that we didn't really need.
He knew his numbers, but he didn't really know the real-world application of those numbers.
Yeah, it was a little insane. So that was my experience, but then Health and Safety gave a call to see if maybe he could get a better one.
I got not really sure what his name was. He was pretty hard to hear.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And how about you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? So I was looking for a power system for my tiny home. I wanted help choosing a unit, so I told him what I kind of run on a day-to-day. So I have a 240 volt heat pump that will be running like part-time. And then I have a 1500 watt hot water tank. It's a smaller point of use tank, so nothing crazy. And then I have some LED lighting. So I watched some videos and I did a little bit of math, and we figured it would be around 3,500 watt hours per day.
3,500. Oh, I see. Okay.
He asked for a little bit more information on the appliances, which was a good start.
For the hot water and the heat pump, do you know if they have a surge power for this one?
So I gave him a little more information on what we were running, and we broke that down into an hourly wattage. He did some pretty good math. He asked us what the surge capacity might be. His first recommendation was a Delta Pro.
Actually, I can recommend you right now for the Delta Pro. This can run all of your appliances for approximately, check this one here, approximately 24 hours.
So I had told him that we wanted power for about 48 hours. I wanted to be able to be self-sustainable in case we didn't have some sun. You know, I'd get a full couple days up at the tiny home. So basically I wanted enough power for the whole weekend, but his recommendation just wasn't enough. So we had to push him a little bit, knowing that that wasn't enough. Okay, so given I want power for an entire weekend, so like a good solid 48 hours, what would you recommend? Maybe a unit change or battery upgrades? He ended up giving us a recommendation for the Delta Pro 3.
Which was interesting because the Delta Pro 3 is just the new version of the Delta Pro. Takes it from 3,600 watt hours to 4,000.
Not a huge difference.
Yeah, not enough to jump from 24 to 48 hours.
For the Delta Pro 3, can run your appliances for 28 hours.
So basically he still wasn't fulfilling the 2 days that I needed to stay afloat. So knowing what we really needed, we pushed him again. We were hoping to get an extra battery out of him, and that's what he recommended. Okay, so you don't think that I need an expansion battery, just the Delta Pro 3?
I recommend that you can purchase an extra battery for the Delta Pro 3.
So once he recommended the expansion battery, I went on to tell him that in the perfect world, I can run 120 volts and 240 volts out of the unit directly at the same time. And now, do you know if I can run the 240 volt outlet while running the 120 volt outlets at the same time? His answer to me was
Yes, actually yes, you can run the 240 volt outlet. Also, you can also in the same time with a 120 volt outlet.
Which, as a consumer looking for that, was awesome to hear. But knowing that that's not the case wasn't the answer we were hoping for.
No. So we actually asked him again. We said just to be certain after we had talked to him for a minute.
And I can run them at the same time?
Yes, you can use this in the same time.
He was confident.
Yeah, he was confident in it. And the reason why this matters is because say you actually bought that and you didn't have a transfer switch or a breaker panel or something to tie into, you would have got the unit and been like, shit, it only does one or the other. And if half your loads in your tiny home are 120 and the other half are 240, you can only run one at a time.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where like you get sold something based on maybe just one specific detail, and that detail is incorrect.
Yeah, like in my case, that 240 is powering my heat pump.
Yeah.
So all winter, I'd have to either run just my heat pump or anything else.
Yeah.
Not at the same time.
Yeah. Like we gave him, it's a real tiny home example that we gave him too. Like that's why this is important. Like this actually would have caused you to get something and then had to return it or work with it if they didn't accept the return or whatever the case was.
We're not working with that. I need heat and I need to eat.
Yeah. Immediately he was on track, but he did dead end the call a couple of times.
Yeah, it was a little bit better than string bean over here, but it really wasn't getting us to where we needed to be. And had we not had a little bit of product knowledge already, we would have been going home with the wrong piece of equipment.
Yeah. So to sum up both of our call experiences, you should be able to call and have no idea what you want, what you need, or how this stuff really works. Like you shouldn't have to have knowledge prior. And you should leave that call with an understanding of what you're doing, why you need the unit that they're telling you need, how it's going to work in your application.
And knowing that you're not being oversold. Because in a lot of cases, you may leave with the confidence that the product will work for you, but not understanding how much bigger it is than you actually need.
Yeah, like why, right? That's the big thing, is like, why is this what I need? And both of us didn't get that answer really at all.
No.
And they should also, honestly, just in our opinion, understand the products that they're selling a little bit better. It just wasn't what we were looking for.
No.
Anyways, that's our experience with the sales side of EcoFlow. We also called the tech support side. So with tech support, there was also no hold time, which was the one nice thing about calling EcoFlow. We got straight through to someone every time. I basically called and I told them that I had a Delta Pro Ultra, which I would have just bought from my previous call, and a smart generator, and I was trying to figure out how do I link the smart generator to the Delta Pro Ultra. We know that you can't do that.
Nope.
Delta Pro Ultra is the only unit that EcoFlow sells that you can't put the smart generator, or at least connect it smartly to.
Okay, sir. If you want to charge your inverter using the smart generator,
Yep.
you can just simply plug in your inverter using the AC inlet.
Okay, so that would be just like the regular charging plug that the Delta Pro Ultra comes with? Because the generator that we got has this cable, right? I'm not really sure what it's called. It has like the cable that plugs directly into one of the plugs on the front. Is there a way to plug that into the Delta Pro Ultra or no? This was probably the most painful, just slow call that we had all day.
Okay, sir. For this generator,
Yep.
okay, sir. I'm sorry for the first information that I told you.
Yep.
For the smart generator, there is a specific cable for it, sir.
Yeah. So that's the cable that you're talking about that comes with the generator, or?
Yes, sir. You can plug it in.
He basically didn't really understand my question at all. I was trying to tell him I want to use the smart DC 2-pin adapter that comes with the smart generator, the only reason that you would buy it, to plug it into an EcoFlow product so we could turn it on and off at will and use it the right way. And he was at first trying to tell me just to plug it into like the AC plug, which would be charging it at 1800 watts. I was trying to take advantage of the 3300 watt charging capabilities of the smart generator. It took us a while to get this call up off the ground, I would say. And it was kind of hard to summarize because there was a lot of like, he was reading manuals and asking for help and we were on hold. And it was kind of like a messy call. But throughout the process of the call, he told me to plug it into the AC in and out port. He told me to plug it into the generator adapter cable. And then multiple times he just told me to run it off the 110 AC plug on the front, which again, you could do that with any generator. So why would I have the EcoFlow smart generator? I just kind of wanted to see what he would say. I just wanted him to say, no, it doesn't work. That just shows product knowledge. Hey, no, those don't work together. But it didn't happen. After about another 30-minute phone call, he came around in a roundabout way and told us it only works with the Delta Pro or the Delta Pro 3.
That cable is specifically for Delta Pro power station only, sir.
Which also isn't true. We tested it. It works with every power station that they make except the Delta Pro Ultra, but that doesn't matter. He did learn eventually that it doesn't work. At the end of the day, it was just kind of a bad call. It was very slow support. There wasn't a whole lot of knowledge being spread.
So for my call, we wanted to ask the same question about the Delta Pro 3 to see if they would give us the right answer. First, I wanted to know if I'm able to run units or appliances on the 240 volt outlet as well as the 120 volt outlet at the same time. So even with another person on the end of the phone, they confirmed that again.
Yes, sir, that is applicable. So you can connect an appliance that requires 120, and at the same time, you can also connect an appliance that requires 220 volts, sir.
Okay, so the inverter will run both units at the same time, both the 240 and the 120.
Yes, sir. It can run the unit, sir.
Yes, you can, which we know isn't the case.
Yeah. Kind of sad, but I mean, again, it just comes down to product knowledge, right? Some places have training facilities and people know this stuff, and some places give you a manual and say, answer the phone.
And that's a huge deal breaker on that selling feature for me too. Like, the unit's great, but if I can't run both at the same time, then I'm out of business.
Yeah.
We also wanted to ask some simple questions, like how many expansion batteries we can add to the Delta Pro 3.
For the Delta Pro 3, sir, the limited extra battery that you can connect to this one is only 2, sir.
And their answers were right, so good job.
Yep.
In summary, for tech calls, we feel the same way we felt about the sales calls. People shouldn't be putting you on hold for that long. The products are pretty easy to learn if you take the time to do it.
At the end of the day, our experience was medium. There was people there answering the phone that had a general knowledge, so that's a pro because some companies don't have that at all. But we feel bad for anyone that we've directed directly to EcoFlow's site so far that has had to kind of have this experience as well. We hope that no one has gotten too misinformed or screwed around. EcoFlow is a leader in the space, so it is kind of sad to see that they haven't put some of that money towards training a sick set of salespeople or tech support guys. We still do recommend EcoFlow products. Obviously, like, they speak for themselves. They're great. But we would recommend you buy it from somewhere like Shop Solar, where you can use their customer support, use their sales agents. If you need a exchange or warranty process, you call them and deal with everything through them. In this case, that's what we would recommend if you're going to go for an EcoFlow product, which isn't the same thing that we say for all these brands. We actually mystery shopped Anchor on the same day, and we had a completely different experience on their end. So leave a comment if there's any brands that you guys want to see us mystery shop, if there's someone that you feel like may have been playing you around, or maybe you want to see the proof before you go ahead and spend your money there. We would love to put our careers on the line and call these people and,
hey, speak for yourself.
You know, put it on the internet for you guys so that you don't have to. Otherwise, that's all we got for you guys. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not already, and we will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.